Welcome to Facebook Ads for Beginners, part of the online course series for retailers. I'm Don Stanley, and I'd like to welcome you in as we get going with the beginning of Facebook ads. As I mentioned, I'm Don Stanley. This is me. I am a business owner, a marketing consultant, sales consultant, and a college educator who have been working with a lot of different organizations for a long time, helping them understand how to leverage digital marketing and social media marketing. And just to qualify, I am not a technology person, meaning I love person-to-person contact. I love the human interactions that we can have face-to-face. And the reality is, pre-COVID-19 as well as with COVID-19 now, we have to be cognizant of what is the way that people shop. If you haven't watched the first video, the first session of this course, I talk a lot about that, about consumer behavior. And so we have to realize whether or not we like it, people are shopping online. I'm also a dog lover. This is one of the dogs that I take care of. She is a service dog. Her name is Chica. So some of the organizations that I have worked with and some of the media outlets I have been featured on are shown here. So I've been lucky enough to have my voice recognized and be seen as a bit of an authority in the areas of digital marketing and how businesses and organizations and even individuals, solopreneurs, can leverage this. So we want to think about, and I want to be thinking about as I put together this course, what do you really need to know as retailers in the state of Wisconsin? What are the things that you need to know to be able to be successful today? You're busy running your business, you're busy running your day-to-day operations. And with the challenges of COVID-19 that we have going, how do we take advantage of using and leveraging digital media and Facebook ads in this case to be able to grow our business and maintain our business with as little effort as possible? Now, the effort is obviously involved, time is obviously involved, but I also know that you don't have time just to be doing digital marketing. So what do we need to be thinking about? So what we're going to focus on today is how we can use Facebook ads, and you can use this for Instagram as well to grow your business and help more people, including your employees, your family, your community. So what can we do to leverage those ads? And basically what I want to do is to have you feel like you can step away from this video after you're done with it, or as you watch it and rewatch it, and be able to apply tactics and strategies that you learn today and try to apply them immediately. So when we look at what's the best way to take advantage of this opportunity, it's really, I know we're all busy. Attention is really, really challenging. Watching lots of Zooms, watching lots of courses, it's hard. It is not easy to do. So basically what I try to do for myself when I take classes, because I still do, as well as teaching them, is just make sure you set aside some time to focus. Even if you have to watch the videos in segments and you watch in 5, 10, 20-minute increments. Before you begin, what I want you to do is I want you to decide in your mind that what you are going to walk away with, that you're going to seek one tip, tactic, or insight that you can apply right away. We know that when people do that, they find the value of taking a class higher because they go in with the intent of learning. Make sure to take notes. There is nothing wrong with hearing something and having to write it down. Actually, research shows you learn better when you actually handwrite stuff down. Don't be afraid to re-watch this video either. I know that I'm a slow learner, so what I like to do is I like to watch, rewatch, and rewatch until I fully understand something. There's a lot of information here, so that is one of the best tactics, even if you're not a slow learner like me. When it comes to one of the added values for this class, this week on Thursday from noon to 12:30, as you will see on the website page, we do live office hours. So during those office hours, you can jump on and ask me a question that is relevant or pertinent to you. You can also, if you can't join in real time, you can submit a question ahead of time, send it in via email, and we can answer those questions. And then you can have access to and watch the recording. So let's get started. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be hitting the tip of the iceberg. So there is so much to know with Facebook ads, but the great news is you don't have to know everything to get started and get going with them. And you don't need to even know everything about them to be successful. Actually, I would argue you only need to know a little bit about them, and that's what we're going to start touching on today. So we're going to cover these 7 topic areas: why use ads, how do you get started, how do you integrate Facebook as a part of your overall digital strategy with your website, how do you effectively target and find audiences using Facebook, how do you set goals, how do you find Facebook ads, or what are the types of Facebook ads, that you can create to maximize the impact of the dollar spend that you have and the visibility of getting those ads connected, and then how do you know if they're working? So basically, why use ads? So there's 2 key concepts to understand: organic versus paid. Organic posts on Facebook, what are they? Basically what they are is it means that you are not paying to put something on Facebook. It's the standard way of posting. That's called organic. Paid means you actually create an ad, whether you're boosting or you're going through the Facebook Ads Manager that we'll talk about in a second. Basically, you have these 2 options: either post something on Facebook without paying or pay for it. Now, why consider paying for Facebook ads? Well, it's the way Facebook has set up the game. It's the Facebook algorithm. So this is something called organic reach. When we talk about the concept of organic reach, what it essentially is let's say 100 people have liked your Facebook page, and Facebook recognizes that you've posted something on your Facebook business page, not paying for it, an organic post. You actually did an organic post, unpaid. How many people on average are going to be reached by that post? Meaning, how many people are going to see that in their newsfeed? Well, the Facebook algorithm is set to show 2 to maybe 4%. So that means out of every 100 people who has liked your page, on average, 2 to 4 will see your post. Now, there are some logical reasons why Facebook does this, because the average person has about 300 friends and follows about 80 organizations or businesses. So if you saw everything that was posted by everyone, your newsfeed would become unmanageable and you wouldn't be able to make sense of it. But that doesn't mean that they're necessarily playing fair. So they're trying to figure out, based off of our interactions with content, what we're most likely to want to see and show that, and then not show us other stuff. The part of the reason that they're doing that is they know that if they show us stuff we don't want, we are not going to spend as much time on Facebook, as much time on platform, and they want us to spend time on platform. So that's part of it, but also they're like, well, if you want to get seen, you know what you can do? You can drop a little money on us. So that is the idea, is that by paying for ads, you have a significantly higher probability of getting seen because you are paying for it, and you can select who is going to most likely see your ads. So just note that when people say, oh my gosh, I'm posting every day, is that too much? And the answer is no, because on average, again, only 2 to 4% of your audience is seeing your posts. So it's really hard to overwhelm your audience. And there are things and variables that Facebook uses that if somebody is interacting and liking and engaging with your content, they're going to see it a lot more frequently. So it's going to be a lot higher than that 2 to 4% for them. But again, this is averages. So this is why we want to think about ads. We want to be able to get in front of people, and knowing that the organic reach, the unpaid reach, is so low, we want to take advantage of the opportunity that so many people are on Facebook, and the way we do that is with ads. So how do we get started with that? And it's pretty simple. The thing to remember when it comes to Facebook is Facebook has really good support. Of course, there's consultants like me that help with this, but Facebook also sets this system up to try to make it as user-friendly as possible, because the more user-friendly they can make it, the more people they can get to interact and pay for ads. So there's 2 key ways to get started with ads. The first one is you can create an ad directly from your business page, and we'll look at that in just a second. And that's the most basic, simple way to get started. It's what I typically recommend for people as they get going. Why? Because it allows you to act immediately without having to do a whole lot of oversight, a whole lot of planning. You can basically get going right away. And when I say oversight and planning, what I'm talking about are concepts we're going to talk about in the next class, which are campaigns and ad sets and all kinds of things like that. This might be, it's great to do those, but the way to quickly get started and just get familiar with the platform is by using your business page. The second is to create ads using the Facebook Ads Manager, which allows more options. So Facebook lets you connect with people interested in your product or industry, and there's multiple ways to do it. So basically, using your business page is going to be the least complex. And then as we go along, you can get more and more complex. And the more complex you get, the more sophisticated your targeting for your ads can get in terms of who sees them. So option number one is to create an ad using your business page. And you've probably seen this on your either Instagram or Facebook page, since Facebook owns Instagram. On the left-hand side, you can see the option to boost a post. So there's different types of ways that you can create ads, and one of them is just, you'll simply see the option to boost post underneath a post that has done well, and Facebook will say, hey, do you want to boost this? Do you want to put a little money behind it? And by putting money behind it, we're going to let more people see it. Or what you can do is you can increase traffic to your website by clicking the promote button on the bottom of your business page. It's in the bottom left-hand corner. And so if you go to the Facebook's ad using, if you search Facebook ads using business page, it'll walk you step by step through the process. We're going to look at this process in a little bit, but it'll walk you through the entire creation process. We're going to dig into that as we go along in a different section today. So the other option is to use the Facebook's Ads Manager. So what you can do is with a business page, you can create one ad at a time. And when you do the Facebook business page, the one we just looked at, it'll allow you to create one at a time, and it'll make suggestions about audience, what kind of text you might want to use, what kind of images you want to use. By using Ads Manager, we go into a new level of sophistication as well as complexity. So what we can do is we can do larger, more coordinated campaigns. We can see an account overview. We can create campaigns like a Black Friday campaign or a New Year's holiday campaign, a Thanksgiving campaign. We can build out sets of ads that are grouped around a particular topic or a particular offer. And then what we can do is we can create individual ads that make those elements up. Things, again, we'll look at in more detail. We're going to spend more time in the Ads Manager next week. The main thing to remember, though, is that whenever you're creating an ad, your ad has to create value. If it is not valuable to your audience, it doesn't matter how much money you spend, it's going to get ignored and it's not going to get interactions, and that's our goal. So what I want to challenge you as you're starting to think about what you might want to create that's going to be of value, Facebook will tell you what posts of yours are performing well and make suggestions as to what the best ad might be. And it's pretty good. It's actually pretty decent. It's not as good as going in and customizing everything, but again, for getting started, if you have no experience, it's a great way to just get your feet wet and understand how the ads platform works. But what you want to be thinking about is think like your audience. What would you want to see as an audience member about your business, your product, or your service that gets people to stop? So pay attention to the ads that you like and just start taking notes in mental notes or written notes. I actually do screenshots with either my computer or my phone of ads that I like, and I use those to help inspire me when I'm creating my ads. So what could make it interesting and valuable? How could it be relevant? How could it be meaningful? So what do we want to do that? And the key to keep in mind is that what Facebook is doing, the Facebook's goal is to get as many people to spend as much time on their platform as possible. The more times people spend on the Facebook platform, the more they can charge for the ad space. So what they want to do is they want to make sure that the ads that are being shown are going to get some level of interaction. And again, they help you. I can coach you through it. There's a whole bunch of different opportunities. But the idea is you have to have ads that are of value in some way. And plus, there's only so much space on either your phone screen, or your iPad, or your computer, your tablet or your computer, to display ads, because people don't go onto Facebook to see primarily ads. So there's limited space for ads, and the rest of the content is stuff primarily from family, friends, and organizations that we're interested in. So what do we want to be thinking about as we start thinking about this, okay? Most of us are going to probably start with the Facebook business page. Some of us, if we're more advanced, will look at the ads manager. But what you want to be thinking of too is, what do you want people to do with your ads? The first example I'm going to show you here is an example of a very simple ad structure which works, and it's great again for beginners. And this is the Facebook only ad. What this means is this ad is on Facebook, and you can see it says sponsored underneath the name, and then the lower right hand corner you can see the option to get directions. That's the CTA, or call to action. So this is an ad that is only on Facebook. But as you start to get more sophisticated, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get people to go from Facebook to visit your website or your store. Next week, we're going to talk about another new option, Facebook Shops, which did not exist until COVID. Facebook has designed that as a way for you to sell your products using Shopify directly through Facebook. But most of the time, what we ultimately will want people to do to become a conversion or a customer is to go off of Facebook and go to our website. But in this case, this is an example where the ad is only directly on Facebook. It is the best way to start out, simple, effective, and a great way for you to get your feet wet learning the Facebook ads system if you want to do the ads yourself. So some of the things that you can look at as far as goals are Facebook ads only, meaning the post is only on Facebook and we want to keep people on Facebook, are things like getting directions, showing interest in an event, liking the page, that type of thing. Now, the other way to do this is to use a Facebook ad and try to drive people to a particular web page for your company or your business, to do something like sign up for an event, get a gift card, buy a product, those types of things. So this is what it looks like. So first of all, you'll see an ad on Facebook. And so I saw this ad. I apologize for the fuzziness of it, but it was from Stanford Business School on how to get clients from Facebook. So I first saw this ad on Facebook. When I clicked on the option in the lower right hand corner to learn more, what it did was it sent me to a web page. So it took me from Facebook to a web page owned by this organization that said, hey, if you want to learn more about this product that we're offering, in this case their product was a course, sign up here. So I'm no longer on Facebook, I'm now on their website, and that's called a lead magnet. So the idea of a lead is what it's called, is somebody who will click and sign up, and then the magnet is you attract them to your website and you keep them on the website. And then once you click to learn more on that web page, a new web page shows up, which is, okay, thank you for signing up. So the lead magnet, they ask for your email and some information. And then the third option there, the thank you and lead magnet, is, hey, thanks for signing up. So this could be sign up for our seasonal specials, sign up to hear about events we have going on. And basically what you're trying to do is to take people off of Facebook and put them on your email list. There's two reasons for doing that. One, we'll learn in the next class that you can do more sophisticated advertising when you have an email list. We'll talk a little bit about that today as well. But then also, if you want to skip Facebook and you just want to email and put together an email list of people that you can share out specials, events, products, whatever you want to do, monthly newsletter, you can do that as well. So what it ends up looking like then is this is the example of an actual ad from the Stanford Graduate School of Business. So talking about, hey, this is what you can learn to do. You see the body copy, you see the photograph. Underneath the photograph is the title, and then there is a description of what you can do. Hey, you can download the brochure if you want to see if this is the right thing for you to do. Now, if I clicked on that learn more option, what it does is it takes me to this actual web page. So it takes me off of Facebook to an actual web page. And again, could be sign up for our holiday catalog, sign up to get 25 monthly specials and coupons sent to you. In this case, it was for the free brochure. So again, the offer says download the brochure to see if this learning model is right for you. I come then to a web page, and this is the best way to set it up. When somebody clicks on that ad, they go to a specific web page address, and there's a short little intro video that explains what you're going to get, and then you'll see there's the big button, download my free brochure, along with what you'll learn. So again, this would be incentivizing and say, hey, sign up for our email newsletter. Each month we'll tell you about the new products we have in stock, and we'll feature a way to use some of the products we have in store. Or sign up here and you'll be able to get coupons, or sign up, whatever it is, rewards programs. This is something that we coach a lot of people through because it starts to get a little bit sophisticated for some folks, understandably so. But again, the idea is now I have them on my website off of Facebook, so I have more control of the process. And then when somebody clicks to download the brochure, what you get, and would be created on your website, not at all difficult to do, a form that they have to fill in. Once they fill in the form and hit that submit button, then they get the, hey, thank you very much for signing up. So now all of this information is moved from Facebook with a simple ad to a website. So you can have it at this level of sophistication. So this is like the best practices example, but you can have it more simple and direct them to your contact page, or direct them to your products page, or something like that as well. It doesn't need to be as sophisticated as this, but this is kind of the ideal process of where we move somebody from being a Facebook customer and we make them an email subscriber in some way. So now we have data and information from them that we can use in more than just Facebook. So when we look at getting started with the advertising, what do we need to do to get started? That's our next segment. So looked a little bit at what ads can do and why to use ads, but how do we then get started beyond what we just talked about? So the first thing is you have to have a business page. If you go to Facebook and just type in, how do I set up a business page, or how do I start creating ads? It'll walk you through step by step. This is a screenshot directly from Facebook. Once you click that create page button, if you do not have a business page, Facebook will walk you through the process of setting up that business page. Once you have that business page set up, now you're good to go to set up ads. The same thing applies for Instagram. You want to make sure your page is a business page on Instagram rather than a personal page, because you can run ads from business pages on Instagram. So remember, Instagram, Facebook are co-owned. Facebook owns Instagram. So if you've got a product, a retail product that can work really, really well with an Instagram audience as well, when you learn how to do this on Facebook, you can port so much of it over to being able to do this on Instagram as well. So if you don't have a business page, again, it'll walk you through step by step. I also recommend just checking out and doing a search for, or we can do it for you. But if you want to do it for yourself for free, just do a quick search for what are the best practices for Facebook business pages 2020, 2021. And you'll see what you can do to update and optimize your page. So now that we've got that set up, now we want to start thinking about, okay, we're going to either use a business page and do the boosting post and promoting from our page, or ad manager, but one of the biggest questions to think about is budget. How much am I going to pay? How much can I afford to pay? And really the answer is it depends. So the cool thing with Facebook, Instagram, and also when we're talking about this, if you have not watched the first video or didn't sign up for the first video, Instagram, Facebook Messenger is another place you can advertise by setting up this on the business platform. But Facebook, you can do an ads on literally any budget from $50 or $20 up to $50,000. I've had friends who've managed single ad campaigns that have been $250,000, $250,000. So you can do anything in between. I recommend starting out small and playing with the platform to be able to understand how it works if you're doing yourself. If you're working with a company or organization like mine or another agency that handles paid strategies, typically you're going to spend a couple $100. Set aside a couple of $100, and what you're going to do is you're going to start getting a baseline of what works and what doesn't work. We'll talk through in just a second what are some of the tools to make sure that you're getting as maximum value as possible from that. The other thing to note, in the upper right-hand corner, it says right away, create an ad, but just to the left of that, you'll see it says COVID-19 resources. So they do have resources that are available to help companies like ours, like our small businesses, through COVID. So basically what we can do when it comes to the costs of advertising, very, very straightforward. We get to tell Facebook what we're willing to spend. So Facebook is going to ask us, how much do you want to budget? And this can get super sophisticated, but let's keep it at the core fundamental level. And you can say, I'm willing to spend $20 on all of my ads. And then you'll go through the process of saying how long you want the ads to run, how many days, and it'll give you an idea of how much you can get, how much value you can get for the $20. Maybe you only can show one ad a day for 2 days. Maybe you can show 2 ads a day for a week, or they'll recommend you bump it up to more. So it's going to be variable depending on how competitive it is to advertise to your audience. So the amount is variable, but again, we have the ability to choose. And as I said earlier, there's these 2 ways to do it. So we can do our business page, the simplest one, or the ads manager. Now, as we start looking at, okay, what do we want to do with our Facebook ads? So we know that we can set any budget. We know that we can start small and advertise from our page. We want to get more sophisticated. We can do the Facebook Business Manager. But what do we set as our goal to know whether or not we're hitting our target? So Facebook does have a guide for choosing what's called the right advertising objective. That's what they call it, the ad objectives. What does that look like? Let's take a peek. So they've got 3 columns here, and these 3 columns are the primary goals that they have listed out. There's a couple more, but the first column is awareness, letting people know that your business exists. So letting people realize, I didn't know this company or this business or this shop was in my town. So this is for people who would be new to your business. So we call that brand awareness, letting people know that you exist. Reach is how many people will see the advertisement, the impressions. The next column is consideration, and some consideration goals are getting traffic to a web page or a website. Engagement, meaning likes, shares, comments, and a few other interactions. If we have an app installation would be one. Video views, so creating videos and getting people to view those. And then lead generation, getting people to fill in forms. And consideration means they're going to start considering our product or service. So they're going to learn more about us. They're aware of us, and now they're going to consider doing something like walking into the store or making a phone call, in a more traditional sense. And then we've got the conversions. So the conversions are actually having somebody physically visit a store, having them actually sign up for an event, actually having them purchase something from you. So these 3 levels, awareness, consideration, and conversion. Most people want to get to conversion, understandably so, but you can't skip awareness and consideration. So we have to be thinking of those. So what are some goals? So what I would challenge you to do as a part of the process here is to start thinking about what are some things that you could do, especially with COVID and the holidays, thinking about promoting time-sensitive information. So I've seen some big retailers, instead of doing Black Friday, they're doing weekly Wednesdays throughout the holiday season, where they're going to post specials every Wednesday. So instead of having a shorter sales cycle, they're going to have a longer sales cycle. Instead of just Black Friday, they're going to actually have these weekly Wednesdays where they can have multiple Black Fridays, so to speak. So, that's a nice change with COVID that I think makes a lot of sense for a lot of businesses and organizations. You can look for online sales, increase attendance at events, including virtual events, which can be unveiling of products. A place that I'm familiar with, they sell a lot of kitchen and cooking stuff. So they can do, hey, we're going to do an online cooking Mexican meal at home, and we're going to do an event if you sign up where we'll live stream with the chef, and they'll show you step by step how to produce this meal. Preparing a Christmas turkey, Thanksgiving turkey, whatever it is. Improving brand awareness and recognition, I think, is always a good one, especially if we're looking to get new people who don't know about our business, knowledgeable about our business. Sharing helpful content that inspires people. So this is a lot of times like how-tos, what is interesting, what products are in stock, that type of thing. Getting more qualified engagement from different social media channels, meaning getting people to spend more time with you, getting more traffic to your website, and getting more email signups. So think about what some of those goals might be. So what I recommend is just jotting a few of those down. Again, you can go to the Facebook ad objectives or the Facebook ad objectives and see what is there and use that. You can, again, come to the office hours and ask me. You can hire somebody like me or another organization to help you, totally up to you. But the idea is you have to have a sense of what you want to accomplish. Now, here's the cool part. This is a part where it gets really interesting and really exciting. Facebook, and scary, I should say. Facebook has about 6,000 data points, 3,000 to 6,000 data points on every person who uses the platform. Now, before you totally freak out about that, which is freak out worthy, by the way, so do credit card companies have this information. So do our cell phone companies have this about us. So this data is not unique just to Facebook, but what Facebook has done is they've managed this data in such a way to help businesses target people very, very effectively. So what we want to be doing is we want to start thinking about who do we want to see our ads. And again, this is where Facebook gets incredibly valuable. And here are the 4 elements that we can look at when it comes to targeting audiences. And I'll walk you through each one and I'll explain which ones are my favorite. So the first one is demographics. So demographics are pretty straightforward: age, gender, marital status, those types of things. So what we can do is click on the demographics button in Facebook, and it'll walk us through the process of putting together an audience. That one's okay. It's not the best. As we go down, the targeting gets better and better and better, and you can combine these. Interest targeting. So interest targeting is, what do people like or talk about on Facebook? What are they saying by their interactions with content that they are interested in? So as an example, right now I'm getting served some ads on a different platform, not Facebook, for private injury attorneys. I have no idea why they're targeting me because I've never watched anything about private injury. I'm not a private injury attorney. So that's an example of bad targeting. Facebook would be able to tell them, no, Don has never clicked on this, never looked at anything with personal injury, never conversed about anything with personal injury law. So don't show him this ad. Behaviors. What has the consumer done? Have they gone to an event? Have they actually purchased a product? Have they donated to a nonprofit? Have they done certain things in terms of their own posting that talk about things like, I work with a number of veterans organizations, like veterans topics, those types of things. And then the last is really, really cool. We're going to dig into this more in the next classes. You can create custom audiences. So what you can do is you can do things like, if somebody has visited your website, you can show somebody who has visited your website or a very particular page on your website an ad. If the person hasn't visited your website or a particular page, they don't see your ad. Only people who have shown interest. You can upload your email list, and if there's a matching email from your email list to a Facebook account, you can have this shown to people who are on your email list. And then the last one, which is really, really cool, is lookalike audiences. So let's say I have an email list and I know that there are more people that are not on my email list that I want to have on my email list, but they're a lot like the people who are on my email list. They're the same. They have very similar interests and behaviors and demographics. What I can do is I can upload my email list, and I can say, Facebook, I want you to find people who look like demographically, interest-wise, and behavior-wise like my audience. I want you to exclude the people who are already in my audience, but I want to find people who are like them, who don't know about me, and show them my ad. So that is a great way to target. Again, this gets more sophisticated, and this is where you're using Ad Manager, but it's really, really helpful to let people who've shown an interest and probably would have a strong interest to see what it is you're doing. So when you go into the demographic targeting, you can see the different variables, and there are several thousand variables. So if I want to highlight women who are married, who live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and who have children ages 12 to 18 who've gone to and liked pages of fine art houses, I can do that. I can do all different types of things. And as you can see from this example, you can, if you select parents down below, you can say soccer moms, and from soccer moms, you can say what age those kids are. Very simple and basic, but good. Interest targeting includes pages that people have officially liked. So pages a user likes, topics, brands, and keywords that they've searched, website browsing, photos they've uploaded, videos they've uploaded, articles they've paid attention to. Have they connected Airbnb and Uber or anything else with their Facebook account? Do they use Instagram? Are they listening to music on Spotify? Because Spotify is owned by Facebook. So this allows you to target interest. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what you can do. The behavioral targeting is based on consumer data, very similar to what credit card companies use or companies that send out mailers use. But this is from 3 different data sources. And what it does is it allows people to to target people based on a whole variety of variables, including what kind of car do they own, what kind of charities have they donated to or interacted with, what kind of mobile device do they use, do they travel, on and on and on and on. So the more we can know about our audience, the more effective and impactful we can be. And then the last, as I mentioned, are these custom audiences. So this is where if you already have a list, you can also target fans of your page or fans who look like your pages. You can do all kinds of really, really unique elements that allow you to get in front of what are most likely going to be the right people to target your ads. So as you build those out, some of the variables that you can look at include loyal customers. So customers who are currently customers of yours, have purchased and worked with you before. If you have specials like loyalty specials, you can also have new prospect stuff. You can have, again, website visitors and literally target people who have visited particular parts of your webpage. So let's say, for example, my company sells products, retail products, and one of them is candles and another is coffee. I kind of run like a little local general store. Well, what I can do is if somebody has visited the coffee page, I can show them an ad and only them an ad that relates to coffee. If somebody has visited my website and looked at the candles page, I can say, don't show this to the coffee people, show it to the people who have visited the candles page because they visited it, so they might be more interested. And then, of course, mobile is huge in terms of the percentage of how much people use these different social tools. And then With the custom audiences, you can get even more sophisticated. So again, this is what we're going to talk about in the next class, but you can do what's called retargeting. So how do you retarget people that have interacted, meaning they've shown some interest, and how can you target them again? And you can get super sophisticated. You can say people who have visited your website within the last 7 days, the last 30 days, the last 180 days. You can, as I said before, target people who have gone to your shopping cart or your contact us page, the lookalike audiences. This is where it pays to, depending on what you're going to want to do, to either spend a significant amount of time building, understanding this, and it's not hard to do. It just takes time, or hiring somebody to help you with it. And then, as I mentioned, those lookalike audiences, they help you find people who are similar to your current customers or your current contacts. And it's just like, hey, I know these people who are already fans of mine. Let's find people who are like my fans but don't yet know about me. And that is gold as well. It's really, really, really valuable. And a lot of this, again, a lot of this content is from Facebook's business section. So if you go to the Facebook business page and want to learn yourself, absolutely encourage you to do that. So do a search of what's a Facebook lookalike audience? How do I do retargeting? If you want to look at things more sophisticated. We will talk about that again in our next classes. And then when it comes to the types of ads, so now we've thought of a goal, we've thought of an audience, now we need to create the ads to get in front of the audience. So let's look at some of the fundamental basic ads that you can use, that if you just use these, you're going to be way ahead of the curve. The first one is an awareness ad. So this is an example where you might want to reach people who live in your community or live in your neighborhood, depending on the size of community you're in, the town you're in, and let them know that you are there. So this is to let people know, hey, I've got this general store here, or I've got this paint store here, or I've got this automotive place here. So what you can do with something like this is show your ad to people who live nearby. And in this example, you can see the ad is to get directions. Stop by today to check out our daily specials. So you can do something as simple as that. You can also look to engage this. So this is an example where boosting your posts to reach as many people as possible. This is an example of what an ad might look like. So what this shows you is Facebook, if we were in the Facebook business page for Jasper's Market, where it says, hey, you can boost the post in the lower right hand corner. Lower left hand corner, where it has the 15,000, it would tell you the number of people that can be reached by you boosting that post. You can also look at finding potential customers, doing conversions, meaning getting more people to go and visit your website most of the time, or your store on your website, or doing lead generation, so getting people to sign up for something so you can collect information. So in this case, Jasper's Market, which is based out of the New York City area, they are like, hey, did you know that we deliver? So this is something that's very COVID valuable if you want to let people know that you will deliver their Christmas gifts if they order them from you, or you'll deliver food or whatever the service is. You'll pick up and take back their car and sanitize it for them, whatever it might be. But you can see this example here, what it does is when you click on the learn more, it would take you to the website. So our goal here is to find new potential customers. Here's another example of that, where you could use ads to create events. And events are working well right now on Facebook. So again, holiday present reveals, shopping tips for dads to get stuff for the young kids during the holidays, shopping tips for dads who don't like to shop, shopping tips for moms who don't like to shop, shopping tips for people on a budget. You could do an event where each week or a couple of times a week you do a different event, helping people as they plan out their holiday gift giving. Share some things as though you're walking somebody around your store and showing them what do you think are the cool things that people really like for holidays. So in this case, the ad is specifically designed to get people interested in attending this event. So you could also do something like join us for this and you can get 20% off coupon, or you can get free delivery to your house, or whatever it might be. You can also look at using Messenger. So Facebook Messenger is highly, highly used by a lot of people. So what you can do is you can create ads in Messenger to get people to start and using messages to connect with people more. So in this example, you can see come check out our fresh local produce, learn more, and this would be an option that you can do with Messenger. Another example of engagement, and in this case the engagement is for coupons or discounts or special deals, and if you notice the arrow to the right side of that organic potted herb, you can see that this is what's called a carousel ad, which means there's multiple photographs and multiple products that you can highlight. So instead of just one image and one product that you're highlighting, you can actually highlight more and getting people to claim discounts or specials or coupon deals. That is another example of what you can do with an ad. You can also do the application installation. So if your business does have an app, here's an example of ad for, hey, you can get groceries delivered to your house and you can go and do your grocery shopping by using our app. What they want people to do here is to install that. Next example is the conversions. So it's fun, easy, free, use our app. So this is for people who would already have installed the app on their device, but they haven't used the app recently, or you just want to encourage them to use the app to remind them, hey, you've got this app, go ahead and use it, and trying to encourage people to become, develop the routine of using that app. And then messages, ads that connect you with your customers and drive them for interest in future purchases, as we mentioned before. And then here is a quick example of what you can do with an ad as well. So you can make these animated ads. Obviously no audio with this, but that's one example. Another example here is this company. And this is for a fall. So again, just a simple animation. You can use a tool like Canva, C-A-N-V-A. Here you would click on that sign up now. You click on that sign up now, you enter your information, you enter the town that you're in. Then you hit the submit button. Once you hit the submit button, then you get to see what they have as far as their store. Then you can go and view the website. Another example of taking orders for Thanksgiving pies and getting people to sign up. So multiple examples of that same type of ad where a little bit of motion is added to make it more interesting. Some stop motion. Again, you can use tools like Canva. This isn't necessary at all, but it is a helpful strategy. And again, whether or not you do these things, it can be helpful just to get a sense of what you can do and what might be interesting to do. And now we'll look at the ads placements. Now, you're probably feeling overwhelmed by now, and that's totally normal. And this is why the idea of doing the business page first and then jumping into Ads Manager can be helpful. And again, I recommend starting out with things simple unless you want to pay somebody to help you to do it if you don't have that knowledge. So the last part is thinking of the screen real estate. This is like real estate of bulletin boards or storefronts. So you can place ads in different places and pay to have it placed in different places on Facebook. So on the left hand side, you can see the news feed, the big image that's outlined in blue. That would be a news feed ad. And then on the right hand side, you can see the mobile feed. The current feeds for all of the different Facebook options there's a lot. So I'm going to just show you some of the key ones. You have the Facebook news feed, which is the first one on the left. You have the Instagram feed where you can place it. Facebook Marketplace, which if you're not familiar with that as a competitor to like Craigslist, you can put an ad there. You can, if people are watching videos on Facebook, you can put it in the video feed. You can also put it in the right-hand column. If you want, you can do it on the Instagram Explorer. So if somebody's searching through Instagram. You can also do it if somebody is using the Messenger app and put it in the Messenger app as they're using Messenger. You can put it in Facebook stories, Instagram stories, Messenger stories. You can do it for Facebook in-stream video. So while videos are playing, you can do it in Facebook search results, sponsored messages on Messenger, and instant articles. That is overwhelming to me. I don't know about you, but if you're starting, that's overwhelming. Again, what I would look to do is look at your Facebook insights that we're going to talk about, and then now you can start to say, okay, I'm just going to try putting it in the newsfeed on mobile, and I'm going to just try putting it in newsfeed on desktop, and that's what I'm going to pay for to start. Unless you're heavily involved in things like that we looked at, like the stories, or you know that you have people using Marketplace or looking for your product on Marketplace, then those are great to use. But keeping it simple at the start to get yourself going is a good strategy. So now the last piece is, how do you know if your ads are actually working? So you pay for some ads. How do you know they're working? As we talked about, you can go in and you can do the audience insights, but if you're not using Facebook Insights, you need to be using that. Facebook Insights are the analytics that come free with any Facebook business page that lets you learn about your audience. So this is where the gold is of knowing, again, if you could know everybody who walked in your store and demographics about them so you could more accurately target them in the future with mail out ads, would you do it? And the answer is absolutely yes. You'd want to know, what are their ages, what are their incomes, what kind of family life do they have, what kind of, all of the different things, what types of volunteer activities do they do, where do they purchase things, are they Packers fans, are they sports fans, are they musical fans, all of those things that we looked at earlier. But what you can do is, if you go into Facebook Insights, you can go into Audience Insights, and what that's going to do is that's going to give an overview of who the audience is for your page. So you can go in and you can see what the split is of men and women. You can see what the split is in terms of ages. So everything is set up here based on the variables that I already told you. So Facebook makes it easy to go through step by step, and you can define custom audiences this way. Facebook will walk you through it if you want to try it for yourself. You can see what it does is it breaks out by gender, and then it also breaks out by ages in gender. What percentage of your audience is male? What percentage identifies as female? What percentage is in that 18 to 14, or 24 to 35, etc. So again, you can start to get this self-reported information, so you can start to get a sense of who your audience is. And then you can get lost in this stuff. It's really, really interesting and fascinating. You can look at demographics of your audiences. You can say, okay, now that I know I have this audience, I want to save this audience for a future ad campaign. So this is where Facebook starts to get really cool too, is it'll start to show you who the different audiences are that are visiting your page. And if you want to save an audience so that you can target to them in the future, you can do that. So you can save people who have purchased or shown interest in coffee before. You can save the people who have as an audience. And if you're ever running a special again on candles, you can say, I want to create an ad, and then it's going to ask you who you want the ad to go to. And you can say, my candle fans. So this again can get super, super helpful. And then once you click on that, you get this option to create an ad for that audience. When it comes to the insights, then what you can do, pretty simple and straightforward to be able to view these. If you go, again, you can search this, or if you want to use the Facebook Ads Manager, you can go in and you can see who's using your account. So on the Facebook Ads Manager, on the right hand side, if you were to go to the right hand side and click on the little icon, that the area that I've highlighted, that's where this will go through and start to show you all kinds of detail. And you can build out a new audience if you want. So you can put location, you can put all different kinds of content. And here is just a short list of some of the variables that you can add in. So again, you don't have to remember all this stuff. Facebook will walk you through what these variables are to make it as valuable and meaningful to you as possible. And then you can go in and you can search. It'll let you know what are the top categories of people who like your pages, or what are the top pages that are liked in your area. This is an example from the Baraboo community, and here were things that people in this audience in Baraboo liked. The top one was sports and recreation venues, and then those were the top pages that they liked. Then coffee shops and wine bar. Again, tons of valuable content. If you don't want to do this, again, there are businesses like mine that do it, but all this information is here for you if you want it. So this ton of information. You do not need to understand it all at once to get going. You don't need to understand it perfectly to get going. What I recommend you do is you go back and you rewatch parts that you need to readdress. If you're brand new, think of using your business page to start with ads. If you're more familiar and you're using Ads Manager, what I would look at doing is making sure your goals, your marketing goals and objectives are clear, relevant, and realistic, and then make sure you have your audience clearly defined. Your audience is clearly defined. So making sure that you're relevant to that's going to allow you to be relevant to your audience. Use the tools that Facebook makes available. You don't need somebody else to do this if you don't want to. Totally get it if you do. That's why I do what I do, but you can do this yourself if you want to. Don't be afraid to experiment with small budgets, $50 to $100 to start if that's what you want to do. Obviously, the more money you spend, the more data you can get, and the more data you can get, potentially the more impactful your marketing can be. And then say, this is a part of, and I think this is the biggest thing, is realizing, even pre-COVID, but because of COVID, people spend a lot of time online and on digital, and we have to look at these platforms as ways to meet our customers and to help our businesses grow. I think of them as an employee who is working for my business. I don't think of it as social media or a Facebook page. This is a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week employee who, if I approach it right, can be an asset to my business rather than a drain. And I can use this to grow, but I have to have that plan in place and say, I'm going to put X amount of time into doing this because this is an employee who, if I train them right, can be a huge asset to my business and help me not only survive, but thrive through COVID and beyond. And then making sure that you're taking time. Typically, we'll look at things once a month. If you're doing that, you can assess, are things working, are they not? And you can assess how to improve. So what I'm going to finish up with for this 101 class is on Thursday at 12 o'clock. If you look on the pages, 3rhinomedia.com/Facebook courses, you can join us. There's a link there to join us for a half an hour open office hours. You can join in and ask any questions you have about the class. If you can't join the class live, you can send me an email. My email is up on the screen, and I can make sure that we address your questions during the Facebook Live office hours and provide an answer to the questions for you. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me in these spaces. Most of the stuff on Facebook is personal right now. LinkedIn, I'm active in terms of interacting behind the scenes, but I'm not posting a lot right now because a lot of client projects and want to make sure that I'm taking care of my clients first. And then I'm going to be adding and building out more on YouTube. So if you want to check out YouTube, feel free to do that as well. But I wish you luck. Thank you so much for taking time to join us today. I hope that this is of value to you. I hope that you understand and realize how important and significant you as a small business person is to all of our communities, to the economy in our state, and thrilled to play a role in some way of trying to help you have bigger impact. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you on the live office hours.